So now this next step really depends on the type of lamination that you're using. Whether you're doing single folds or double folds or book folds, as they're called. If you're doing book folds, it's important that you roll out your dough wider or longer in order to be able to have more room to create those additional layers in your lamination. If you're doing single folds or just a third fold, as it's called, then you want a slightly thicker dough so that you don't have too wide or too big a book or too thin when it comes to the lamination. In this case, we're going to do a single fold, which will be thirds. And it's just important that all you'll do is try to divide your dough evenly into 3 parts, taking into account the size and height of the width. You fold into thirds, and you'll see that you have nice, even layers, trying to maintain a straight block on both sides. Lastly, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is we've introduced friction, we've introduced pulling and working the dough, which is going to create tension. During your lamination process, one of the things that we are most important that you have to keep in, I mumbled out. During your lamination process, one of the most important things to keep in mind is that as you're laminating, you're creating strength and you're creating development in the dough. So it's important that you rest your dough in between each lamination process. Regardless of you're using PS100, PS30, whey butter, or Fifth Duke, you need to be able to rest your dough so that the butter, which will tend to get softer or warmer quicker during the lamination process than the dough does, has a chance to reach down that temperature to those 4 to 8 degrees, the same as the dough, and maintain the same consistency during your lamination process. So you want to be able to relax your laminated or your block anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes in between each fold. And that's going to give you the consistency that you need in both dough and butter throughout your entire lamination process. Now, before we move to resting this dough, one of the last things we want to do is just find the seams, okay, the closed seams that you created a fold, and just create a small incision, okay, which is just going to relieve some of that tension that we created in the dough during the lamination process.